For us in ATAF, it is an honor to participate in the 7th edition of what is an important gathering on the continent. Not only has our attention been strongly focused on stemming illicit financial flows from the continent, but we are faced with this new challenge of the digitalized economy, a challenge that presents both opportunities and threats to us, and probably what we will be discussing over the next few days. Noting these two large streams of work, I believe that we have a fundamental opportunity to sufficiently develop an African position to showcase to the global community and to leverage our own technological advances, innovation and ingenuity. In this regard, we at ATAF highly value our partnership with Tax Justice Network Africa. We've recently signed a memorandum of cooperation with TJNA, and in ATAF we hope to intensify that relationship between ATAF and TJNA and our other partners. We have a particularly important historic role on the continent when it comes to issues of illicit financial flows, but issues of taxation, domestic resource mobilization, and in the bigger scheme of things, the relationship between citizens and the state, because that essentially is what taxation is all about. Here in Kenya, where we are meeting, I'm also very pleased at the reception from the Commissioner General, Mr. James Mburu, and the Kenyan Revenue Authority. In a very strong way, Kenya plays an important role in taxation on the continent that you may or may not be aware of. ATAF runs a number of tax programs across the continent, 24 to be exact. In some of these programs, the Kenya Revenue Authority provide tax experts. And currently we have the head of the Continental Committee on Value-Added Tax, Mr. Stephen Chande, I think he's here. That's Stephen Chande. He is from the Kenya Revenue Authority, and he heads our special committee on VAT. And they're looking at VAT in the digital economy. And we look forward to the work that they will be producing. Kenya also provides auditors in support of tax audits in Liberia and Sierra Leone. And hopefully soon we'll be sending some people, some specialists to Eswatini, Swaziland. And then of course we salute the great work by KESRA, the Kenyan Economic School. Ladies and gentlemen and colleagues, the global economy has and continues to force us to rethink what it means to trade within the continent. The growth in digital platforms and consequently digital trade has introduced new issues which would have been considered remotely possible 30 years ago. Digitization continues to provide an impetus for members to examine and re-examine both the economic positions and the manner in which they can obtain their fair share of taxes. I guess what all of this is trying to say is that the digital economy is making us look at taxes differently, because taxes are not coming from the traditional sources anymore. I'm not always sure whether those who make tax policy understands this, and hopefully some of our discussions here will help crystallize that. Digital platforms and the supply of digital intangibles has produced a mixed bag of risks as well as opportunities for revenue enhancement and revenue mobilization, as well as the opportunity to take advantage of digital intelligence in order to police and encourage tax compliance. In equal measure, the growth of this sector has occasioned new decentralized forms of currency which are no longer linked or regulated by banks. So people are trading, people are doing business, people are transacting, and they no longer need the normal regulatory and infrastructure and institutional development that we have become accustomed to over centuries. And what does all of this mean for the mobilization of domestic revenue? In our opinion, the current nexus and profit allocation rules dealing with this does not ensure appropriate taxing rights for source countries, and in particular for African countries. And this is partly due to the increasing digitalization of the global economy and the African economy, which enables non-residents and in particular multinational enterprises to increasingly carry out businesses in African countries with no or very limited physical presence in their country. And so when you do book on Airbnb or on hotels.com, or you do ride the Uber, there's a percentage of that income that cannot be touched, although that income has been generated in your domestic economy. How do we deal with this? The no or limited physical presence denies taxing rights under the current nexus rule. Where the nexus rules is met, the lack of recognition for the value of the market jurisdiction in the current profit allocation rules significantly limits the profits that can be taxed in the market jurisdiction, so in the domestic economy. The current rules provide an inappropriate balance between the taxing rights of the residence jurisdiction and the source jurisdiction, and are inappropriately skewed in favor of the residence jurisdiction. So in the end, the country that's importing and the country that's exporting. So the exporting country is favored more in the current allocation of taxing rights than the importing country. And so in Africa, we know we are largely importing. And in the discussion about the reallocation of taxing rights, that is where the heart of our future benefit of taxation lies. This is encouraging illicit financial flows out of Africa, artificial profit shifting to no or low tax jurisdictions, and the loss of taxes to African countries that we need for development. E-commerce changes the distribution of taxable activities. It poses challenges to the jurisdiction to tax income and alters the balance of the taxing authority and results in the erosion of the tax base. E-commerce creates difficulties in identification and location of taxpayers, the identification and verification of taxable transactions, and opportunities for tax avoidance. All sounds very negative. E-commerce is a good thing. Digitalization is a good thing. It has a lot of innovation, it has a lot of benefits, it brings even informalities in. So there's a lot of positives about all of this. What I am focusing on is the tax and taxing implications, and the fact that existing tax systems and existing tax rules do not cater for what these new innovations are bringing. Because these new innovations are bringing good things to our economy, but we cannot sufficiently benefit from it because our tax systems are not sufficiently modern. And so things like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, digital havens, have become new themes that continue to force members to consider or reconsider current approaches and pre-existing rules to taxation, both here and internationally. And so illicit financial flows continue to threaten our already scant tax bases. So old rules are simply unable to stay abreast of this development. So it's not a negation or a rejection of digitalization and e-commerce. On the contrary, we must embrace it, but we must adjust the way we deal with it, both whether it's tax or whether it's trade policy or whether it's industrial policy. We must adjust the government system